Well, we can get some more now on those pressures being felt by nurses and the warning from the Royal College of Nursing that there's a growing sense of disillusionment amongst staff. Joining me now is the Royal College of Nursing's General Secretary, Pat Cullen. You saw her in that report a little bit earlier. Very good morning to you. Thanks for being with us. We'll talk about all the pressures that nursing staff are under in a moment. But first of all, just give me your reaction to these COVID hubs that are being set up. A sensible idea or not so easy to do?
Well, I don't know about how easy they are to do, because we can set up all the hubs that you wish to set up, but if you don't have the nursing staff to actually care for the patients that are going to be placed in those hubs, that places more challenges on the nursing workforce. The nursing workforce already are struggling massively to care for the patients that are already in hospital. And if we set up hubs and put up additional beds, that's going to even place more pressure on those nurses. So at this point in time, we have no idea how we're going to be staffing those additional hubs as they're set up.
It appears that these hubs are going to be largely for patients who are getting better and are close to being discharged from hospital. Could you argue that actually this will make life easier for those nursing staff inside the main building who are trying to look after the critically ill?
Well, where you see a bed in a hospital, you inevitably see nurses. So those beds will still have to be staffed by nurses. The patients in those beds will still require nursing care. So the nurses that are already providing the critical care in hospitals will even be spread thinner across those areas, unless there's another plan to staff those beds and care for those patients in another way. But at this point in time, that information isn't available. So we are working on the premise that if there's a bed put up in a hospital or in a makeshift hospital, inevitably that bed requires a nurse to be present to provide the care for patients.
We're heading into another year. It'll be our third year with COVID hanging over us. What does that mean for those in your profession?
Well, we can see in this report today the stark statistics in the report that has been issued today. But it's not just the statistics. Behind each and every one of the statistics in that report, there's a story to be told, and we can see those stories in the report that's being published today. And personally and professionally, each and every nurse has paid a massive price over the last number of years. They headed into this pandemic with 50,000 nursing vacancies in the NHS in England. And then on top of that, we now have a situation where thousands of nurses are off isolating. So you can imagine what it's like for those nurses that are still getting up as we speak this morning to start a 13, 14-hour shift and care for patients with a depleted workforce, and knowing that there's no end to it, that it's just relentless. And the words that they say to me on a daily basis is that it has become intolerable. And throughout my 37-year nursing career, I never thought that I would see a report issued today that shows 57% of our workforce wishing to leave the profession. That certainly was never something that I thought I would see in my time.
And of course, we're all hugely grateful to the work that nurses do, but we are in unprecedented times, aren't we? COVID has taken its toll on so many people in so many different walks of life. Is it fair to completely blame the government for the situation that nursing staff find themselves in? Well,
the nursing workforce has been subject to cost-cutting exercises year on year by successive governments. There has been an absolute total absence and lack of workforce planning, cuts made to nursing, permanent posts filled with temporary vacancies in order to get money out of the service. Those are not issues that have been created by the nursing workforce. Indeed, the nursing workforce has stepped up and stepped out for the public and patients time and time again. So someone has to take responsibility. But what we're saying is, moving forward, there needs to be accountability and responsibility for long-term workforce planning. There needs to be investment in the service, And we need a workforce that is fit for purpose, that can deliver for the public and take the pressure off the front line, those nurses that are trying every day to do their very best for patients, so that they can go home after their shift and know that there's not care left undone, that they don't feel that their patients are being subjected to unsafe care, when we have got a workforce that is absolutely highly valued by the public, that are skilled and expert in providing that care. And it's down to the government. Unfortunately, I do have to say that it is down to the government to make sure that the patients and the public have got the workforce to provide that care for them.
OK, we must leave it there. Pat Cullen, General Secretary of the Royal College of Nursing, thank you.
Thank you.